Idamba, foreign policy and defense expert, is our guest. And they are working behind the scenes to prepare this campaign and all the work that's going into it. So before we come back into what you're asking him to do on the list of items, just take us through what happens between now and February.
What happened is the processes begin in a sense. Africa chairmanship goes in rotation, and this time is the East African rotation to provide the chair.
Prof, I just want to ask, what informed this idea of the rotation?
Well, that I cannot give you direct answer, but it makes sense for me. Because if South Africa is the chair for this time, then you need to move to other part of the continent so that you have a balance. Just like the UN system, security and all that.
See, why I asked the question, it reminds me of the canton system in Switzerland and the way they rotate the presidency. Okay, it is known. This time it will be so and so. So the region decides who they are going to
The best
take.
candidates.
Yes.
The best candidates you put forward.
Exactly.
But the entire body, the African body, there are 32 people, member state that must vote.
Yes.
For you to become the chair.
You see, that we have such a system tells me that we are not starting from nowhere.
Good point.
We actually have something that tells us that
we
have understood the need to work together.
Correct.
And to work in a manner that does not cause a lot of angst amongst the fellow members. Now, the next step, which is what it is that you're talking about, that has always been a tall order. So is it that people don't know what needs to be done, or is it that we say in Kenya that there is a leadership deficit? It's something Kenyans like saying. Is it that we do not have, or we haven't had somebody who can actually push the agenda that Africa needs in order to achieve this?
Very good question. First, when very good people get into beer hall, and after about 30 minutes, they come out. They're very good people, very bright. They know exactly what they're talking about. When they come out, what do they look like? So the point I'm trying to drive here is we have wonderful, trained, highly educated Africans. Let me go beyond that. But when it comes to really making sense and prioritize what makes sense for Africa, it's like they're drunk people, and then the outside people are coming in now to guide us what to do. The kind of active politic from the big powers, the US, Russia, China, then you have now the Middle East and everybody coming in to make sure that the person elected is the person that can kick back and forth and serve their best national interest. And so there is intense, right now, lobbying, intense lobbying to have that person, because that person can now begin to make Africa work, or can continue to be subservient to serve the best interest of all these people. And Africa, my friend, we are tribal. We are divided by religion, Muslim, Christian, what have you. We're divided by communities, We're divided by economic rank, those people who have come in and got a lot of money and the rest of people are here. We are divided completely.
By Mzungu language.
By Mzungu language. The Anglophone, the Anglophone people, the British never left. French even gone further than that. They're controlling the banking system of all the Francophone countries. So if you want to make anything, you go to France and then come back here. And Lusophone. So So we have a tense situation. We got political, created constitution, and we sing and everything. And that's it. But underneath, we're burning. Africa is burning. And the time has come for us to put a stop to this by creating a structure and forcing people back to the orientation. That makes sense. We are not tribal. The tribal is created by the British divide and rule. And so the point is, what we're saying, you see people like Obasanjo traveling back and forth. It's burning inside for that united Africa. That's the reason Iran second time, he came back and overthrew the government second time. Because Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa.
Second. So they say.
Isn't it?
Second.
Is it second? Which one?
So they say South Africa is first.
Oh, so South
country has
Africa.
the biggest population in Africa?
He said economy, eh?
Yes, I know.
Economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigeria.
But I'm asking the
Yeah,
question.
GDP. Look at the GDP.
Which
Anyway,
country, which country has the largest population in Africa?
Well, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah. But it doesn't equate to the largest economy, though.
Well, you
But I understand your point.
You understand my
Yes, I
point?
do.
We
yeah.
want
Yeah.
Nigeria. to
Obasanjo.
have the
Oh, you
largest
want it?
we have
Okay,
the
okay.
largest
Yes,
economy.
and Nigeria produced the biggest oil
Yes, yes.
and everything. Nigeria was not refining its oil until Dangote came and created the refinery. And Dangote wants to do that in East Africa. He wants to do that for Angola, but he can't because where's your passport, and all that kind of thing when he traveled to Angola and to Kenya, to other countries. So we want to stop, excuse me, stop the crap. Stop the crap so that we can create Africa to grow. And so all this problem we're having, now, let's see, I'm looking Raila and his politics and consistency. One consistency is taking his life, putting his life forward for the people of Kenya. I mean, from Moi to where we are now with Ruto, who's been shot at, who left his family to struggle for this country. Look at the Constitution 2010. That is one of the best comprehensive constitutions there is in the world. It's a cosmos of the British, South Africa, US, and put all together. And if we follow that constitution, we can begin to behave like people and have control of each other. He had a lot of role in that. And so you cannot forget. The other thing that peace mediation, Africa cannot move anywhere. Think about how many Rwandese died. Think about what's happening right now in Sudan. And know that Putin and Trump, if he comes, is going to use very colorful language to call you. He doesn't care. He doesn't go to bed and wake up and say how many kids died in Africa.
True.
Putin the same, Xi Jinping the same. But issue is, what can we get out of Africa?
Yeah.
And therefore, we're going to need to have peace and coexistence. Without that, we can't.
Prof,
Yeah.
you're speaking my language because, I die for Africa as well.
Yeah.
And I know that there are many, many, many issues that need to be dealt with, probably top of the list, leadership and governance. And then we'll see the trickle-down effect of a lot of all of these things. And here we are having a conversation, and I'm still going back to what you said about what we are going to tell Raila Odinga that these are the things that he must speak. These are the things that he must say he is going to do. But I'm still worried that maybe he's not caught that fever.
No, he is beginning to.
Oh.
Okay? Let me tell you, I'm watching him. And otherwise, I'll not be here talking about this thing because I kept out. I don't want to. Previously, I kept out. They have asked me, Prof, let's bring you here to serve as the only person that I got very close to working like that with was Amina Mohammed. I serve as the chair of resolving Kenya conflict, Kenya people, value system. I serve on that. And so what's governing Kenya right now is our work. But I asked them not to create a commission. because there's no reason. But they went ahead and created commission. So commission is not serving. So the point I'm talking about here is everybody learn. Okay, you hear what I'm talking about. You want African Union. African Union is not going to come from the sky because of the Arab North, the African down here.
South of the Sahara.
South of Sahara. And why is Africa divided south of Sahara? So one thing is to solve the conflicts we have within ourselves. The issue of Somalia, okay? The issue of Ethiopia and Egypt. Ethiopia built the Renaissance Dam. Renaissance Dam will serve the entire Ethiopia and all neighboring countries, including Kenya, including Sudan, including Somalia. That's what Renaissance Dam will. Egypt is threatening to blow it up.
Yeah.
Egypt has the biggest air force in the continent of Africa. Is it going to use it to destroy development? Who's going to stand in front of the president of Egypt and say, this is wrong? And collectively as Africans, let's solve this in a different way. Egypt is using River Nile based on 1928 British treaty. Kenya need to use River Nile. Uganda need to use, South Sudan need to use River Nile. We need to agree, Ethiopia need to use River Nile. We need to agree on solution on what is going to benefit the upstream and downstream.
You know, Prof, the things that you're saying are radical, right? And for the structure of the AU, like you're saying, to be reshaped, rejigged, that needs a lot of radical work, right, City? Needs a lot of work that needs to be done radically, that needs to, that needs a leader who actually just stands up and says, you know what?
Guys, this is it.
This is it. This is how we have to go. First of all, a leader who's persuasive enough to bring everybody to the table, to bring everybody on board. I'm sure everybody in Africa agrees. But then everybody in Africa at the same time has very many other interests that force them to have a certain conversation a certain way, like you said. There are external factors at play. How do we get a leader who will do all those things? Who will bring the African leaders to agree to say the thing that they all feel? That we need an African Union that is strong and that works for Africa.
You know, John Kennedy, the former president of the United States, had some of the best advisors you can put together. Barack Obama had some of the best advisors. I was a campaign manager in Cleveland, Ohio for Barack Obama. But he surrounded himself with not yes people, but the kind of people who can articulate what need to be done and debate him so that he understands that this is what is needed.
Does Raila have such people?
Well, you are asking a very tough question, my friend.
Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah. He must have those people.
Yes.
Does
okay? Yes, there are some of them, then some of them are not. There are a lot of yes people.
A lot of yes men right now.
You see, this is the issue. This is the issue, Prof. Look, if he hasn't done it before, and then he goes into this seat, what makes us think that he's going to do anything different?
Okay, I'm coming.
So this is the expectation that, you know, some like you will have of him. And then there's he himself and what his expectation is.
I'm coming to that. There is a space where you serve the local muddy politics, where you are really muddy. And there is UN and there is Africa, where it's elevated to the north. People are looking for specific what you're putting forward. Okay, President Kagame is creating one of the best governance school in Rwanda, and he's done some things in Rwanda. Everybody can criticize him. Oh, he's so arrogant. Oh, he's so do. No, look at the kind of car he drives. To give you an example, and look at the discipline he has created in his country. So we need to use our own example of what works in Africa to restructure OAU. and to bring the North and the South part of Africa together, such that we're working for a common goal to make this island, feed these people, provide the best education system, and create a future where everyone is fed, because we're capable of doing it. And so it is us, it's incumbent upon. Now let me look at what has been achieved. Right now, there is Pan-African group which is based in the UK, and they do a lot of collective research, find out where things are. They've done a survey, and in this survey, Raila has 52% of the four people, how many are there? There are four people who are running, who've been selected. Raila is 52%. The second, Mohammed Ali from Djibouti, has 33%. And the next one, Richard James, has 9%. And the last one has 4%. Now, having said that, the number of countries that have signed on right now is about 19 that have signed their name. You need 32%, 32 countries will vote for him. But out of this, the entire East African heads of state, from DRC to Rwanda, of course Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, Burundi, Somali, they're all on. Okay, so you're looking at rotation, and the East Africa head of state are on board. Say this is our candidate. Now, so we as Kenyans, where he comes from, has to do everything we can to make it a candidate which is going to sign and succeed. You get me? We can now go, where did you sleep, what happened to you and all that. The kind of politics that's going on. I'm saying this because I build a house and I live with Jewish people in America. They fight all the time. They're constantly Jewish. They're agitated. They're, constantly. They're fighting. Touch the name of Israel. And then
together.
Then you wonder, why were these people, were they really fighting? And so what I'm saying to Kenyans, I've done that a lot in America, because there were people who were voting for John McCain, there were people voting for Barack Obama. And I said, Barack Obama has root from Kenya. And the people who are going to make him giant are Kenyan people, because he has root and he's a black person. So we are going to make. So if these people can see the sense, and then you have quite a number of outsiders like Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria, South Sudan. South Sudan is part of us. South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe are all on board. If they can see this, why are they voting? Why are they coming? If there was nothing about this man, so it is incumbent upon us as Kenya to make him a better person.
Prof, something that disturbs me though, Raila is a strong candidate. We believe the AU should have a strong candidate. We should present a strong candidate. But the other countries who haven't signed on to this, are we certain that they also want a strong candidate? The last time we had a really powerful person helping us was Gaddafi, remember? And he was serious. Nasser was serious. Nkrumah was serious. Haile Selassie was serious. Of this lot, the person who had a good go of it was Nyerere, retired quietly.
Simple.
Yes. I'm simply asking the question, does the continent actually want a strong leader?
Let me, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, my friend, which is asking what's really wrong with us. What really is wrong with us? The continent and the people of the continent want it now. They don't want to wait for tomorrow. Okay? And that is cutting across the board. You know, people of yacht, I want yacht. The Middle Easterns. America, I want a big house. I want a big car, the car we are driving, be it, okay, in the middle of everything. And then you take it to a rural area where you cannot drive it and park, but you want it now. We're not ready for doing the kind of things that Lee Kuan Yew did, that South Korea did. And we're ready, South Korea has what's called mindset. We're not willing to work and sacrifice for tomorrow. We want it now. And therefore, this is the lesson that Raila and everybody is going to have to come to. We're not just electing you to be the leader, representing Africa and all that. United Nations structure is coming. Is Africa going to be represented in Permanent Council of United Nations?
Security
And will they be able to have
veto power.
Veto power. See what I'm talking about?
That's what we want him to go and do.
We are the largest number of representative in United Nations. Why is Africa not having veto power? Why smaller European countries have more power than we have in Africa?
Good
And
enough.
so we must feed our people first
Prof,
and demonstrate to the rest of the world. That's where we are coming from.
let's end it there. Come again soon, please, Prof. Come again soon for another more conversation. Professor Noami Damba is a foreign policy and defense expert working behind the scenes, preparing Raila Odinga for the candidacy of the AUC, AU chairperson. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. Thank you for tuning in. Have a lovely day. It's 10 a.m. We'll see you tomorrow.